Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a great day, drinking lots of water, staying hydrated, have eaten something at some point today. If you haven't, now's your chance to because we're sitting back, relaxing, and reading some spooky Reddit stories today. It's been a while since we've done this, and I am recording. You guys know earlier in the year I went on vacation. I'm going again, except I'm going out of country this time. So I'm preparing a few videos in advance, and I'm feeling like scary stories might be the way to go. So yeah, if you're new here, hi, my name is Maximum, and I'm a variety streamer, so happy to have you here. I will be out of the country for, let's see, I will be out of the country from August 29th all the way until about September 8th. So I will be gone for over a week. So I'm recording this on the last day of April right now. And we're going to dive right into this. So you guys should be seeing this on August 29th, which is the day that well, actually not 29th, probably 30th. I'll have a stream ready for you guys for 29th. So 30th. And I will be out of the country at that point. That being said, we're going to dive right into this. We're going to be in the Creepy Encounters Reddit today. And we'll see how many we get through. I might do just one or two. It depends on how long they're going to take. I'm going to try and keep this lower voice here just to set the mood. But I do have my coffee and I do have my water, so bear with me if I need a drink, which I'm going to do right now. And take a sip of water. And that being said, here we go. We are in Creepy Encounters subreddit in the top of this month. So this one's from 5 days ago by Mihoy Minoy. It's called Kid Banged at My Door Crying for Help at 3 a.m. So this happened last night. Around 3 a.m., me and my brother were woken up by loud banging and crying at our front door. We live in a rough neighborhood, so naturally my brother grabs his shotgun, cocks it loudly, and starts yelling, "It's 3 a.m., go away," through the door. We were both tired and freaked out. We recently had a girl from the neighborhood break into my car, so we assumed it might be her. I looked through the front door window. We've got a one-way film on it, and didn't see anyone else around. I crouched near the door and listened. It sounded like a young man, completely hysterical, begging us to help her call her mom. I told her I was calling 911 and that help was on the way. My brother, in full adrenaline mode, opens the door, still holding his shotgun, and starts yelling at her to calm down. I didn't agree with this approach, but in all fairness, she woke up about half the block from her screaming while she was pressed up against our door. After he opened the door, I got to see her. Honestly, I was kind of hoping it was a homeless person from our area, or even someone looking to do some weird stuff to us, but it was a kid, and the look in her eyes while she was kneeling at our doorstep made my heart stop. I was thinking she was around 14, but she said someone crashed into her car down the street, and she left her phone in the wreck so she couldn't call her mom. Things weren't really adding up as I asked her a few more questions. She kept begging me to go down the street with her, but I told her no way, we're waiting for the cops. About 10 minutes later, 3 tow trucks drive by, heading toward where we told 911 the crash happened, so I felt safe enough to walk with her down the street. On the way, she keeps asking to hold my hand, and I'm just thinking, you look like a teenager, you're barely dressed, and I'm a grown man walking through the neighborhood that you woke up. Not a good look. I awkwardly asked how old she was. She said 18 and grabbed my hand anyway. I felt very uncomfortable, but her emotions were definitely outweighing mine at the time. Halfway there, the cops show up. I flagged them down, explained the situation. Meanwhile, she's telling the officers over and over I have really bad ADHD and anxiety while handing me her eyelashes, a full set of false eyelashes. I didn't really want to touch them, but I took them just to help her feel a little safer or whatever. One of the cops pulls her aside, and the other starts casually asking me a few questions. He told me that they got another call about 30 minutes before that a teenager was running across someone's lawn barefoot, which I looked over and realized she was barefoot the whole time. When I saw them cuff her, I think they suspected she was on something, which I was 50-50 thinking. As we're wrapping up, the officer sees me still holding the eyelashes and go, "What are you gonna do with those, bro?" I just told him I'll sleep on it. I want to go back to bed. I head home and started talking to one of the neighbors about it. He assumed that it was her parents' house or something, so he didn't want to get involved in domestic drama. Makes sense. And I just assumed that's why no one else got involved. I couldn't really go back to sleep because I was shaken up and pretty worried about her. I imagine it was a traumatic experience for her. I don't know if that was a justified reaction to her situation or if she really was on drugs or mentally ill, but I will definitely be praying for her and her family. Let's go down to the next one. This one is from 20 days ago by Awkward Dorky Nerd. Something my neighbor said still haunts me. Even though this was almost 10 years ago now, I have never been able to get this out of my head, so I thought I'd post it here. I was about 11 or 12 years old, living in an apartment with my mom. Right across from our apartment was a very creepy neighbor. I could write a whole book about all the creepy, wild, and downright insane things he said and did throughout the 2 years he was our neighbor. But this was something that stuck with me more than anything else. My mom's and this neighbor were having a casual conversation with each other, with my mom's goal being to try and find some common ground with him and clear up any misunderstandings or miscommunications that may have led him to dislike us so much, as he had a pretty blatant feeling of disdain toward us. But evidently, something went wrong during this conversation, as my mom suddenly came stomping into her apartment, loudly shutting and locking the door. She was visibly upset and shaken, so I asked what's wrong. Her voice trembling, she said that our neighbor said this completely unprompted. "You know, if I were you, I'd keep your daughter away from guys like me." Now, while I'll never know exactly what he meant by this, my mind definitely had plenty ideas of what he meant by this. At the very least, it felt like a thinly veiled threat. And the worst part was that I was often home alone, as I did online school while my mom went to work. So from then on, I never felt safe when I was home alone, as my imagination ran wild on what he might end up doing to me. Now, I never thought I would say this kind of thing, and I did feel a little guilty about it, but thankfully he ended up dying before he ever did follow through on this creepy comment. Before anyone asks, my mom also told me about this because she wanted to warn me to stay away from him, to never do anything like keep the door unlocked. She didn't have to tell me twice. This next one is from 15 days ago by Wonderful Bid 9269. Psycho in a thrift store. I had a creepy encounter in a charity shop selling secondhand clothes and whatnot. 20 years ago, I was in my early 20s at university and wasn't shy or nervous person at all, but this experience haunted me. The man did nothing wrong, but I got the strongest creep vibes I've ever felt. So I go in to browse. It's quite busy in there, and whilst looking around, I spot a man who worked there. It actually felt like he spotted me and would keep looking over, etc. I instantly felt very uncomfortable. I mean, this guy, who looked very normal, made my blood run cold and really frightened me. I tried to avoid his gaze, but something unsettled me in a way that has never happened to me before or since. A real stranger danger feeling that I wasn't used to, especially from a shop assistant. He then came over and asked if I needed any help, and a weird instinct kicked in to get away from this man and fast. Said no thank you and quickly left the shop. I literally wanted to run. I was so surprised by this terror this man's presence caused me to feel. Like I said, I was quite a confident young woman, Not easily spooked by people at all, but he terrified me. Just a feeling I got. Throughout my life, I've had a fair share of creepy guys who have never been interested in me and displayed that in a weird way and never been freaked out by it, but there was something so incredibly off about him. Despite this, there were a pair of jeans I liked in there, so I made my boyfriend come with me the following day, as there was no way I was going to use the fitting room on my own with that creep there. We went in. He was there. Nothing happened, and I tried on the jeans, didn't like them, and left. I didn't think any more about it, other than I won't be going back there again. A couple days later, my parents visited, and we were having breakfast in the cafe. My dad was reading the local paper, and he said, "Look at this." He turned the paper to me, and there is a photo of the man who 100% happened to be the creepy man from the shop. The article was about how he had just been released from prison for stabbing his girlfriend like 14 times. After an incredibly short sentence, he was allowed to live and work in the same town his poor victim and her family are from, and was even given a job to help him resettle into society or whatever. It really did stay with me. I was horrified that I interacted with this man, but knew at this point to always trust my instincts because they were screaming at me to get away from him. This one is from 12 days ago by Primary Upstairs 153. Creepy old guy started asking where I lived and if I had a boyfriend. I'm 17 now, but this happened when I was 13. It was around noon, and I went for a run in my neighborhood. I passed by this old guy, maybe late 40s, early 50s, who was walking this itty-bitty dog in a pink harness. Adorable. I coo at it a little as I run by, smiling. The guy asks me if I like to pet her, and I obviously say yes. I pat the dog for a minute and turn to continue my run. The guy stops me and asks if I live in the neighborhood. I immediately get red flags and try to subtly take a few steps back while being vague that, yeah, I live in the area. The neighborhood was massive, so I thought that didn't really give away much. He asks where, and I told him near the front. I lived more toward the east. He doesn't seem wholly pleased by this answer, but moves on. Then he asks me if I have a boyfriend, and that's when I panic. I yell at him that I'm a crazy person. I'll claw his eyes and immediately start sprinting away. I run toward the front of the neighborhood so he won't know I actually live near the east. I loop around once. I'm far enough away and cut through some back roads to get home. Told my mom as soon as I got home, and she immediately grabbed me and got in the car, telling me to tell her when I saw him. I never did. I never saw him again. I wonder about him sometimes and what his intentions had been for me. I'm going to take a sip of water and then we'll continue. Alright, this runs from 27 days ago by Red Ocean Water. I can't get this man's stare out of my head. A couple days ago, I was on my drive home from work, and on my way home I have to go through a large neighborhood to reach the main road I needed to take. When you get to the main road, you can turn left or right, or go straight across to another neighborhood. I have to make a left turn, which can take a while during rush hour. Where I have to stop is usually semi-busy with foot traffic, as it's near small downtown area and a bus stop. On this day, I pulled up to a stop sign and noticed a man crossing the crosswalk. At first glance, I knew he was trouble. The way he walked with a slow arrogance, having no regard that me and the people stopped behind me had places to be. He looked somewhat disheveled, not in a manic kind of way, more like a I've worn this outfit 10 times without washing it, and I put it on in the dark kind of way. Also did not look sober, whether it be alcohol or drugs, I don't know. As he began to pass the crosswalk from my left, I wasn't looking at him. I was looking past him to see if cars were coming from the left, preparing my timing for when he finally passed. As I was looking at him, I could feel his eyes on me. I made a quick glance and he was dead staring at me, no expression on his face, just a hard stare with some kind of intent that felt dark, almost like I could see the things he was thinking. The glance was maybe 1 second, but it felt like an hour. I quickly looked away to my right to see how many cars were coming from that way, then began to look to the left again, and this man was still staring at me. His head was on a swivel, his body moved toward me, and his eyes stayed on me. I was in my car with the doors locked and felt generally safe enough, but the way he was looking at me made me feel completely unsafe. By the time he crossed, it felt like an eternity, and of course there was traffic coming from both directions, so I couldn't drive off yet. Even after he made it to the other side of the crosswalk, he was still staring, walking completely backwards to keep his eyes locked on me. When I finally made my turn, I looked at my rearview mirror, and he was still walking backwards, staring at my car as I drove off. It gave me the chills. I had made direct eye contact with him maybe 3 or 4 times, for a quick second each time, but when it plays back in my head, it's in very slow motion. I can't explain it, the stare was just so dark. I could feel in my whole body that we had crossed paths in a different setting and time of day. Like on an evening walk, I absolutely would not be safe. The absolute boldness and the way he did not care that I was aware he was staring and purposefully trying not to engage in any way with him did not stop him for a second. It felt very predatory. His stare keeps popping up in my head and makes me feel so uneasy. It doesn't help that my boyfriend's out of town and there is a break-in just 5 blocks away from where I live today. Needless to say, I cannot sleep, and that's all I want to do after this day of work. Why are people so terrifying? Because a woman in moments like these, being a woman in moments like these is so scary and exhausting. I've had my fair share of encounters, and I'm just grateful this time I was locked in my car and not standing toe to toe with this very scary, intimidating guy. I hope everyone else gets a lovely night of sleep for me. This one is from 4 days ago by AV Discover. Almost got kidnapped. So, I know many of the Redditors on here may have never been to Brazil or know of the happening in Brazil. As a rule of thumb, you stay alert in Brazil when you're walking around. In major cities like Rio, Sao Paulo, you remain on high alert. You use common sense. Don't flash your fancy watch or your fancy phone. Don't wear some blingy chain around your neck. Don't wear a fat diamond engagement ring while walking down the street, etc. Now there are parts of the city that are quite safe, and you'll have 0 issues. There are some parts where you use common sense, and of course every city in the world has sketchy places you avoid unless you want to end up being robbed or worse. I've been living in Brazil for 7 years, moved here with my wife who's Brazilian. On a Thursday evening, went to a local mall. It's not a very famous one. You won't find a Chanel or Gucci in this mall, but you will find some decent brands, Adidas, Nike, what have you. So we opt to park on the highest level of the parking tower as it's open and slightly more spacious as we have a bigger SUV. We entered the mall to run some errands, pick up our dry cleaning, grab some food, and hit the stationery store. We realize quickly that we seem to be followed by a boy in his early 20s or maybe in late teens. In fact, it looked like he had a school uniform under his hoodie and a backpack on too. My first language is English, so I speak English with my wife. She's also a native English speaker regardless of being Brazilian herself. This does draw attention to us, as almost no one here speaks English unless it's working professionals in some financial districts in the city. Even that is seldom. We realize we're being followed by this kid, but we think we're being quite paranoid. Maybe we made it apparent we were onto him, or that we might have caught wind. But we enter a chocolate store to wait out and see if he passes on. He seems to go away, so we figured we were just being paranoid. We proceed to an open area, top-level parking. As I approach and click unlock on the key fob, getting closer to the car, I notice one taillight has a strange orange glow instead of the regular red hue. We reach the car and notice many pieces of my broken taillights on the floor. Within a second of reaching our car and taking in what happened, another car pulls up next to us and honks at us. I look at the windshield and notice it's our vet and her husband. They smile at us and come out to say hi to us. We tell them well, look, someone hit our car. How terrible. My vet's husband and I inspect the car and notice the taillights are broken deliberately, as no other part of the car was damaged. So no way another car hit our car and just went on their way. No, this was a person purposefully just breaking our taillights. Or maybe a motorbike? Confused, we go back inside the mall, seek out security, and head to the security office. The mall has insurance, so they said they would proceed to start paperwork on getting our lights fixed. They also looked up at the video, and in the multiple cameras you can clearly see the guy who we thought was following us was accompanied by someone else and hurrying around a corner toward us as my wife and I approached our car. But they stopped as my vet and her husband got out to the car and started talking to us. You can see them in the camera just calmly turn around and walk away whilst constantly looking back. Security proceeds to alert all guards and call the police and start a search for the young sleuths. The security had then told us a few malls and banks have been hit by thieves who will break your taillights to distract you into standing and staying outside your car as they run up behind you and usher you into their car at gunpoint and order you to go to the nearest ATM and clean your accounts out, or worse. It was ridiculous luck that the exact moment our vet happened to be pulled up right next to our car. A minute earlier or later, and I believe we would have been kidnapped. Never going back to that mall, or at least never parking away from any mall entrances, that we have decided to speak in Portuguese and keep English to a minimum when we're out and about to draw less attention to ourselves. This one is from 19 days ago, by No Photograph 5705. Weird stalker lady at my mom's gym. Hey guys, I'm not sure who to tell this to and what to do for my mom in this situation. There's this lady at my mom's gym who wears a full mask, like a fencing mask, to the gym and works out in it. Everyone at the gym knows who she is but has never seen her face. She even has a sock covering her rearview mirror in her car. Anyway, everyone knows she's an odd person for the same reason she has a personal vendetta against my mom. My mom does not know this woman. She's never met her in her life, and she started showing up at the gym maybe a few months ago. I don't know, usually she works out and goes about her day, but one day my mom parked next to her, obviously not knowing it was her car, which shouldn't matter anyway, and this lady started to curse her out. She was talking to her like she knew my mom and saying things like, "That's my man, you B-word," and all that. It was like she had a fight scheduled or something in that area. My mom is confused and she's like, "You got the wrong person." Then the lady's like, "No, I know exactly who you are, yada yada yada." So my mom just ignores her and goes back to working out and goes home. For the past few weeks, she's been missing this lady because she always goes to the gym at different times. A few days ago, my mom was talking to her gym friend, and this lady pulls up in her car and literally stops in front of them and plays loud church music. She stares at them and go for a good 5 minutes and drives off. Then today, She gets ready to go home after the gym, and the lady is there waiting for her. When my mom gets ready to drive, this lady literally does like car tricks around my mom's car. It looks like she's about to hit her, but then narrowly misses on purpose. She keeps doing that until my mom finds an opening to drive and leave. She didn't want to drive home because she thought this lady would follow her, so she just drove for hours somewhere else. My mom has been at this gym for years and doesn't want to leave. She's went to the gym in the morning and in the afternoon, and sometimes the lady's there and sometimes she isn't. She knows exactly what my mom's car looks like, 2 of them, and the main row she drives on. This lady is always walking that route. She definitely saw my mom one day on the road and stared her down. The lady also goes to the gym, but we don't think she has a membership at the moment. She goes inside to use the bathroom, then goes to hit a punching bag really loudly and walks out. We have a few pics too. I just hope my mom stays safe. She didn't seem too concerned until the last incident happened. She said she'd file a police report and get to the CCTV footage, but I really hope we can get this lady to stop. Too many crazy people out there. Edit. This morning my mom went to the gym as usual. She was able to talk to the gym staff, and the higher-ups weren't there today, so she's going to email them. I asked her to file a police report as well, so I'm hoping she does it ASAP. She's going to get a dash cam today too and start recording everything. She's just a little sad because she wants to enjoy going to the gym without dealing with this weird lady. She already has enough on her plate. We also found out the weird lady is, in fact, a paying member, so that's why the front desk workers don't say anything. Still, it's odd. Update 1. There will be more because this is crazy. As I said before, my mom was able to talk to the gym staff at the front desk. The higher-ups weren't there today, so she's going to email as well as talk to them in person when she gets a chance. She got her license plate number today. Yay! My mom gave me more information about this lady that was even more weird. The lady parks at the gym from early in the morning to like late in the afternoon. I'm not sure if she's living in her car or not, but she's at the gym 24/7. The gym she goes to is within a park, so when you leave the gym, you can just walk around the big park. This lady parks in the same area every day near a volleyball court. It's always in the corner on Urshade. My mom's gym friend wanted to speak to her to see what's going on and if he could help, but he stopped because he saw her in her car doing something insane. She was in her back seat with her front seat pushed forward, so she was clawing the seat like a monster. So the gym friend turned around and didn't want to say anything. Then she came to the gym, but she's always carrying a satchel packed with things. I have a pic of the lady, but I'm not sure if I can upload it on the subreddit. Her face is covered regardless. Interesting. We'll do one more. This one is from 29 days ago by Glum Passenger 488, called Maintenance Man. I, female, moved into a new apartment a few months ago and lived alone. I've been continuously creeped out by the maintenance guy. I can't tell if he's just nice and nosy or possibly has bad intentions. On my move-in day, he already knew me by name and was waiting by his truck to greet me. I'm 27 and he is probably in his 40s or 50s, and I think he has mentioned he has a daughter. In the first few weeks, when I would work out in the gym, he would constantly walk by and I would catch him looking at me. The first time I had a maintenance request, he started texting me from his personal phone about the request, kept asking if I would be home. I was at work, and came and left the unit multiple times according to the texts. After he left, he texted me about how he noticed a magnet on my fridge from North Carolina and wanted to know why I had it, and started chatting about his personal life and how he used to live there. This was in the evening over text, after the maintenance request was completed. I tried to be short and sweet in my replies because I didn't want to have a personal conversation with this man, but I don't want to be rude. Also, seeing as I have about 15 or so magnets from different places on my fridge, I thought it was weird that he was standing around reading all of them. Then he started texting me every time I got a package to inform me it was delivered. The next time I had a maintenance request, he brought a package in for me. The package room is all the way across the complex, which may have seemed like a nice gesture, but still felt a little strange to me. I sent him an email asking that he please communicate with me over email instead of text for organizational reasons because my texts delete frequently. This is not a lie, but the truth is, I was feeling uncomfortable with the texting. He agreed to this. Last night, I submitted my new request about my HVAC, and he sent me a message in the portal that he would be coming by in the afternoon. Again, I was at work. I didn't see any updates posted about what he found or fixed online. When I got home from work, I see a note on my counter. It's handwritten. He says he's not ignoring me, but has been advised by the office to not have direct written communication with the occupants. I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I expected the note to be an update about the maintenance request. And now I'm wondering why would the office advise him not to talk to the residents? Maybe because someone else was uncomfortable with the texting communication and told them? Also, the fact that he knows he is not supposed to communicate with me and chose to leave me a note anyway does not sit right with me. And that is it. We are going to be done for today. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. It takes 2 seconds and it's completely free, so you can always unsubscribe later. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye.